All right, Spring, we kind of expected that to happen. The Avs, after finding something against Dallas at home in a shootout loss, they hammer the Blackhawks on the road. They put 50 shots on goal. 4 of them go in, 2 of which happen to be on the power play, and other ones are rather a Valeri Nichushkin goal off of a little bit of a broken play. Mackenzie Blackwood was great when he needed to be, but that wasn't needed very often. And the game in hand that we've talked about the game in hand for 2-3 months now. It finally came, and the Avs took advantage of it.
Will they get it right back? I think Dallas plays tomorrow in Minnesota, and then the Avs will play on Sunday. But yeah, it looked like a carryover from the Dallas game. The effort, the energy, the play, the want to, the high level. The Pittsburgh game, I mean, it's so clear that in a handful of those games, it's just a disinterest because it's 82 games. When this thing's 84, dude, why do we need 84 of these things? What are we doing? But they wanted it today, and they went out and they got it. The only flaw, really, or the biggest one was I don't know what Gavin Brindley was doing. I was like, I just looked up because I'm in the studio, I'm in the control room, and the Nuggets are, and the Avs are up 2-0 at that point, playing pretty well. Nuggets were in the early stages, so I'll admit, I was a little more interested in the Nuggets at that moment. Turn my head back over to the Avs to see this drop pass from an Avs player right to the Blackhawks. And I'll steal something from Kyle Keefe. I was like, did I just enter the spirit world? Wait, those were black jerseys and you're in a white jersey. And I kind of went along with it for a second. I was like, oh, sweet drop pass, bro. Wait a minute. That was to the wrong team. Wait a minute. The Avs are moving left to right on my television screen. Those players are now attacking to the left or right to left. What the heck is going on? Okay. That threw the whole sequence off. Mackenzie Blackwood should have had a shutout. He was very good. But really it was, Natchez, the extra pass from Nichushkin was great. And then how about the no-look spinorama from McKinnon? Holy crap. To Nazem
What a pass.
Kadri. That's just that's one of the best passes I've ever seen. From one of the worst passes I've ever seen to one of the best passes I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. The 2 power play goals that I saw this evening made me really excited. Kale was shooting for a stick there. He wasn't shooting to pick a corner, and Kale hits another milestone, hitting that, was the 70-point mark again. Is that where he is? But hits another milestone. He's got 20 goals this year, but he's shooting for a stick. He's not shooting to score there. He's trying to find Brock Nelson.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, that's a pass.
Without a doubt. And the pass from McKinnon was otherworldly. I mean, there was no chance that if it gets through, and it does get through 2 sticks, that Kadri wasn't going to score because he has an entire net wide open. The power play, dude, since they've been back from Milan, they're running at 25%. That's all I can ask for. If that power play clips at 25% in the playoffs, they're winning a Stanley Cup. They are.
It's 2 things. It's moving Natchez high left, and it's Kadri on the right wing. Those are the 2 keys. And then, hey, good Brock Nelson. Now that, because Brock had been right wing, but now Kadri's here. So Brock, you need to be more middle in that slot bumper area or net front. And so Brock's net front, and he does a good job presenting himself, and Kale sees him, and Kale makes a great little shot pass. And, Brock does a good job net front, and that's what he's going to need to do until Landeskog's back, which could be as soon as Sunday. And then I'm interested to see if Nelson's even on that top power play. Maybe they take Kadri off instead of Nelson. I would disagree with that because it's kind of like some of those Jokic passes. You got to know if you haven't played with him, you might not know they're coming, right? You got to be ready at all times. Now I know Kadri and McKinnon, when Kadri was here, they didn't play together a ton, but Kadri had the headiness to know, this pass could be coming right here from McKinnon, and he buried it. That's underrated. Kadri gathering that thing real quickly and burying it real quickly. That's underrated. Some guys will flub that. I like Kadri on that right wing. Brock did a good job in his new role since Kadri came here today. We'll see if it's Landeskog, but it's Natchez, it's Kadri. that's why the power play, I think, has ticked up here.
They're clipping right now at 25%, which is good for 8th in the league since February 25th when they came back from the Olympics. I completely agree. Kadri on that left side changes everything. You cannot take him off. He was brought back onto this team. It's so very clear, brought back onto this team, Spring, not only to have center depth and not only to have a veteran, physical, tough type of guy to play against in your second and third line, or maybe even pot up on your top line with injuries. It's so very clear he was brought back to help fix the power play. There weren't many left-handed shots that were open on the market that could do that. And Kadri doesn't have like this big booming Ovechkin, Zibanejad, Kucherov one-timer
Mikko
from that
Rantanen.
opposite side. Mikko Rantanen one-timer from that opposite side. He doesn't really have it. What he does have is a quick release, and what he does have is sure hands, and what he does have is the ability to go and hound pucks that miss the net. And that was something that they were missing on the opposite side when they had Natchez and McKinnon on the flanks. And as great as Natchez has been, like, the dude's got 32 tucks this year. He's been fantastic. His goal tonight was very good. Also, another great pass over to Marty Natchez from Val Nichushkin, which is one we haven't talked about yet. Kadri's ability to corral pucks and get shots off is so good.
Yeah, he's an upgrade on the right wing. That left-handed shot, they tried Brock, the Landeskog when he's been healthy, and since he's been back on power play, one has floated over there a couple times. Maybe Lehkonen early in the season. I don't know. That's ages ago. Brock was admirable, but this is an upgrade. And hey, I'll take an upgrade. It's not Mikko. It's not, but that wasn't going to be out there, you know. When the Red Wings came to town and I saw Patrick Kane, and I was like, man, $3 million for that on that right wing would have been pretty cool. But Kadri, it's better and it's good enough. It's not Mikko level, but it's good enough. And then I'm excited to see is Landeskog back on Sunday? Is Lehkonen back on Sunday? I mean, this is a Caps team that were sellers, and then you can't tell me. I mean, if they play like they did against Dallas and Chicago tonight, they're going to get revenge and then some on the Penguins. The Penguins are going to rue the day that they did what they did to Colorado on Monday night. I think a reverse whooping is coming their way. They could sweep this damn thing, dude. Revenge for Winnipeg, too. Back-to-back revenge opportunities at the end of this thing. This could be 8 points, man. It could be 8 points if they play the way. It should be 8 points if they play the way that they are capable of playing.
And that's the reason why the last time that we had this show after the Dallas game, where I think you and I went, like, fuck the result. Who cares about the result? Just look at what they did. Look at how they played against a team that is right there with them. If they get 8 points on the road trip, I think I said, right, there 14 games remain in the season with tonight's game included. And I said, if they go 11-3, there's no way they don't win the President's Trophy and get the number 1 seed. And kind of part of the reason why is because I looked at this road trip and I go, if you figured it out against Dallas, the 8 points will be there. It's just going to happen if you play that way. Dude, they put 50 shots on goal tonight. Sorry, 49 is the final
49,
tally.
Yeah. I mean, that's amazing.
49.
I think, didn't McKinnon talk about that after the Penguins lost? Like, or someone said something like, man, we've been averaging like 30 shots on goal a game recently, which is not us, like under 30. And that's not them. This is a high volume. Like, they should honestly be putting more. I know this is going to sound weird. They should be putting more 49s out there. Like, that's what this team is really built to do. It is.
I'm trying to find their total shot attempts this evening. Natural Stat Trick hasn't quite loaded for me, Spring, but it's got to be like 90? Damn close to 90.
Yeah.
Once it loads, I'll let you know, because I know at one point it was 71-31 Colorado on the broadcast, and that was sometime in the second period that we saw that come through. All chances for 87. They threw 87 pucks at the net. I was going to guess
87 in honor of Sidney Crosby. It was on the tip of my tongue, but I went 90 instead.
87 pucks at the net compared to 42. That is, I looked at the deserved to win-o meter on moneypuck or moneypuck.com, which is It's basically off of 5-on-5 chances is like a really good way to boil it down. It's like, hey, who dominated possession today, and who had the highest expected goals when most of the game was played. The deserve to win-o-meter is normally like, if you really dominate a game, it's like 65 to 72%, and that's dominant. Colorado was at 90%. 90% on moneypuck.com tonight. That's how they had the puck on their stick the whole game.
So Chicago had to play last night in Minnesota. Got the win. Got a 2-1 win in Minnesota. That's pretty nice. Tough. Like we saw this with the Nuggets. Although the Lakers last night on the second night of a back-to-back, like they had the same schedule the Nuggets had, and they were able to go into Miami and win.
Luka, man. Luka's going unconscious right now.
Unreal. But typically, when you play the night before and you got to get on the plane, and Connor was telling me before during the pregame interview that like there was wind or something, and there was a little bit of a delay for the Blackhawks to get from Minnesota to Chicago. And then you got to play Colorado, who just found their game against Dallas. Yeah, this is what it should have been. I do, because when the Blackhawks do make it 2-1, and I felt this way too when Dallas tied it at 1 on Wednesday. How are the Avs going to respond to this, especially without Landeskog when they're in their no Landeskog era phase? Sometimes they can be playing well, they can be dominating the shots on goal, the possession, but then just one stupid thing happens and the other team scores and the Avs just let it get to them. But that was not the case against Dallas. That was not the case tonight. They reasserted themselves, and Chicago's a lower level opponent, but still, Bedard's out there, the strong arms out there. Look, they're a plucky young team, but the Avs did what they were supposed to do. The one seed's there for them. One seed's there for them. Central's there for them. We're in montage mode. Like we need to get into montage mode where it's just like these are just wins. We're high-fiving. The fun music is playing, and then April 4th comes around, and we do this dance all again with the Stars.
You've been mentioning the one seed should be theirs if they continue to play like this. Here's a stat from the NHL Media Stats website. Colorado has been on top of the NHL standings for 117 game days this year. They're only the 6th team in the past 40 years to reach triple-digit game days, at the top of the NHL standings. 3 of those 6 teams, Colorado included, went on to win the Cup. Detroit in 2007-2008, Detroit in 2001-2002, and Dallas in 98-99. When you are this dominant for this long, more often than not, so it's 3 of 5 before then, and now it's 3 of 6, and we haven't seen what that 6th team has done. More often than not, you go deep. And one of those teams that didn't, Boston.
Yeah. And man, it would be such a shame, to hold first place for 117 game days and not get the 1 seed. But
they've been in first place since October 27th.
I know.
Alone.
At a certain point, that length of time and dominance, therefore, and I hesitate to say dominance because, Dallas has been on your tails, but overall what the Avs have done just themselves, if you take everything else away, any other team away, has been dominant. It wins out. It pays off. It's such a large sample size, and you very clearly are who you are at that point. That, and you look. I thought looking at the schedules the other night after the Dallas game, because they play Minnesota tomorrow, and that's Washington's not that. Pittsburgh's not that, which is why Monday was so disappointing. The Jets are not that. That's why that game was disappointing in its own way. It should be where Dallas climbs and tries, but 117 days is 117 days. And at a certain point, you can try to be 7 foot tall, but you can't. At a certain point, you just cannot get to this pace that has been so historic in front of you.
What you really want to happen is Minnesota finds a way to get it done in regulation against Dallas, because then it turns like, not only does Dallas lose that, it becomes the game in hand thing again, and then Colorado can continue to go on this run. The Avs have a 4-point lead on Dallas. Dallas has a 6-point lead on Minnesota, but Minnesota's played 2 more games than both the Avs and the Stars. If Minnesota can find a way to win that game, Spring, it more becomes a battle of like, Dallas is now focusing down rather than focusing up. They've been focusing up for that whole 15-game streak of like, hey, we can go catch them. Like, the Avs they're injured, they're muddled in like a 500 type of 2 months, and we're winning games left, right, and center. And once that gap would then get back to 6 points with 12 games to go, if Minnie closes that to 4, even though there's a game in hand, you start going, oh crap, we're not chasing them. We're making sure that we don't have to go to Minnesota in round 1, and that we get the home ice advantage in what expects to be a 7-game series between the 2 and the 3 seed. I think this weekend is everything in terms of the central race.
So if Minnesota wins, they would be 4 points back of Dallas. Is that correct?
4 points back of Dallas.
Okay. I like that. And hey, Minnesota's been right there. So, I mean, good for them. I hope they go get those 2 points. I hope that's what it becomes. I hope the Avs don't cruise, though. I hope the Avs don't look at that. I hope the Avs, if Minnesota wins tomorrow against Dallas, they don't look at that and say, we can treat Washington like Pittsburgh. Oh, wait, Ovi's out? I don't think Ovi's out, but let's say something happens to Ovi tonight. He's out just like Crosby was out. We got this. This is in the bag. Yeah, don't do that. And I do think, one thing I'm seeing post Avs Stars game is, we didn't have Dallas. We didn't have Mikko. We didn't have Rupe Hintz. The Avs didn't have Gabe Landeskog, Arturi Lehkonen, Logan O'Connor, and Ross Colton. And I think that's a wash. I don't think, what's going to happen is, if you are a Stars fan, if you are in the Dallas area, and you want to say, oh man, not having Mikko is that's the biggest thing. I get it. Mikko puts up a lot of points, and what you would do, Raj, is you would go to the Avs stats page and you would say, Gabe Landeskog's only scored 9 goals, 10 goals. I'm going to go on a morning talk show in Denver and say that means absolutely nothing. No, it means a ton. Not having Gabe Landeskog means a ton. So I think it was pretty even. Who they were without. And they dominated that game. And so glad they got 2 points tonight, because screw that shootout. That shootout meant absolutely nothing. 4 points clear of the Stars. They outplayed them on Wednesday night. What you think of Mackenzie Black? I thought Mackenzie Blackwood looked real solid tonight.
Solid. He didn't have to be great. He made a big-time save when he needed to. That breakaway save at the beginning of the game, when it was you're still feeling each other out a little bit. Like, you probably have the edge on Chicago, but if that breakaway goes in on, I think it's Burakovsky actually who's coming down on him. Burakovsky tries to go 5-hole. He shuts it down, and that one panic point for the game goes away. If he scores on that, man, it kind of gives Chicago a little bit of jump, and then it puts that little seed of doubt in you, going like, oh, are we going to have another one of these letdowns against a shitty team where we should guarantee ourselves 2 points, but now we're looking at like a 2-1 deficit going into the third at some point. I thought that big save, when he needed to be big, he was big, and he made a couple of backdoor saves on 2-on-1s. It wasn't a big test, right? It wasn't like a huge team that is going to be a playoff nemesis this year. But when he was tested, he showed up to the occasion. I thought that was a really good bounce back game from him, and I expect him to hopefully parlay that into another. I want to see him play against a really good team.
Well, what do you think? What do you think we're looking at for this road trip? If you could alternate like they have been by and large, unless they want to get away from that a tick. But really, you would alternate here, or else Wedgwood is starting the next 3 games. And if they are alternating, then that means that Blackwood would start Tuesday in Pittsburgh.
I think I'm going Wedgwood 10:30 in the morning at Washington, because it's essentially a back-to-back for that goalie. So I'm not throwing Blackwood again. I'll go Wedgwood on Washington. I'll go. Who started the Pittsburgh game? Was it Blackie?
Wedgwood started. Blackwood came in like maybe 10 minutes in.
They were both shit. That's the reason why
Yeah, they
I
were both
actually don't know.
shit.
They were
Yeah.
both terrible.
Yeah, they were
Blackwood
both
let
shit.
in the first goal. Yeah. No, I go Wedgwood on Sunday. I go Blackwood on Tuesday. And
I mean, probably Wedgwood on Thursday, unless Blackwood has some unbelievable performance in Pittsburgh where you're just like, holy shit, I can't believe it. And we have got to get this guy back out there because it looked that damn good. I can't imagine that as be the case, though.
I mean, it's a huge question. Wedgwood was so good against Dallas that right now he's my playoff one.
Well, that's what you could make the argument. Should Wedgwood start all three of these remaining road trip games?
Because he's your one. And then it's so difficult to be a head coach making these decisions because then the opposite side of that coin is, well, if he's your one, don't you want his legs ready for the postseason?
Yeah, and Blackwood played very well, and I don't think it's over.
I don't think it's over either. Dude, it would be nuts. And we've talked about this so many times, and you were the one who brought it up. Boston didn't know who to go to. Was it Swayman? Was it Ullmark? Who do we start? And again, you run into the Cats. Like they kind of got screwed that year because Florida was the wild card too. I could see the Avs going, we're going to play both these dudes just like we have all season long.
I think so. Yeah, I my expectation would be Wedgie Sunday, Blackwood Tuesday, Wedgie Thursday.
Like, why not alter?
That's my expectation.
Could you
Go ahead.
Sorry, our delay is weird because we're working on two different.
Yeah, also I'm on my phone and I'm on 5G right here.
I'm so sorry.
We're good.
Like, could you see them alternating in the playoffs just because it's worked this year? It's so crazy to think that they could do it, but like it has worked for them.
You know what? That's just weird enough that I actually kind of like it. There's something about that I actually kind of like. A rhythm, a flow, a camaraderie, hey, you get this one, I'll get that one, I'll pick you up. If you go down, I understand it's your start next. Look, I could see Mackenzie, I'll say this, why I said I don't think it's over. Thought he played really well today. I know it was the Blackhawks, but he's got all the tools. If he's gonna get starts the rest of the way. If he shows well, and I don't care. I don't have a rooting interest. I don't care if it's Wedgwood. I don't care if it's Blackwood. I just know, when we see it at the end of the regular season, we'll ask ourselves, who, especially in the past, it'll really be that last week of the season. Who over the last week is in the best form? You could look great now. How do you look in the final week of the season? And that'll probably be the guy who gets the nod.
Do you throw, I think it's going to come down to the final Dallas game. Like if you throw Blackwood in Dallas and he plays exactly like Wedgwood does, he looks awesome. Then I go, you need to alternate in the playoffs. I actually think it's down to one game for me. I think you force Blackwood starting on Saturday, April the 4th at Dallas. And if he shows up big time, then these two ham and egg it during the postseason. And you just go, hey, it works for us. It might be a U12 Pee-wee type of thing, but it works for us. And if you throw him against Dallas and he sinks and he doesn't swim, then I think you have your answer that Wedgie's your starter in the postseason.
It's the alternating in the playoffs is such an interesting idea. Like, I don't hate it. Oh, if it didn't work, and I say, didn't work, like in quotes, like, let's say Wedgwood starts game one, has a pretty damn good start, but we're alternating. So Blackwood gets a second start and he doesn't play that great and they lose. Everyone's going to be like, Jared Bednar, you're an idiot. How could you do that? Nobody does that. But I don't know, man. I can actually kind of see it working. Like, do you the idea that you need to be in that rhythm and you need to be in that zone and you need to get every start, that's how you're great. Well, the Avs have shown this season that they're freaking alternating starts all the time, and these dudes are great, and it keeps them fresh. It can keep them fresher. If it worked, and it easily could work, you'd be labeled a genius. Like, how did we not think of this before?
Dude, it would be an all-time story. It would be like did they just revolutionize goaltending type of story?
Exactly. Yes.
It would be does the entire league have to change what they're doing type of story? If they want to cup by just going ham and egg.
Yeah. Jared Bednar would be on the cover of Time magazine, and it'd be like the man who changed hockey forever.
I'd love to see it, man. Yeah, they look dominant against a team that is certainly not as good as they are. What was really nice is that you get another 3-point night from Nathan MacKinnon, so he is very much alive in the Art Ross race. He's 1 point behind Connor McDavid. He's even right now with Kucherov, and they're light years ahead of Draisaitl, who's no longer playing any more regular season games. They're 20 points clear of Macklin Celebrini. So I think the Celebrini MVP talks can probably cool, while even if like San Jose makes it, maybe I don't even think he's a finalist, man. You have to look at McDavid, McKinnon, and Kucherov and just say, those are your three guys. Like, they're so damn good. Kucherov's averaging like 3 points a game over the last like month and a half. He's doing his freakish thing at the end of the year where he just heats up and scores all the time.
Yeah, it's annoying, bro. That's annoying. But I imagine, and I can't pull up the odds right now, but I got to imagine McKinnon's still a decent favorite to win the Hart. He's got to be.
I can't imagine
he's not. And now Draisaitl's out, and I don't know. Just when you look, I mean, the Avs just got to 100 points today on March 20th, and if they're the 1 seed with that many points in the season they just had, even if Kucherov's 4 points ahead of McKinnon or whatever it could be, you give it to the guy who led his team to one of the best regular seasons in NHL history, who only has 1 MVP.
And he might score 60.
And he might damn win the Rocket Richard. So, yeah, like, it's a no-brainer.
The NHL does love those seasons where they have one dude walk away with a bank robber's villain type of bag of awards. They love those pictures where like Sid or Ovi or Wayne Gretzky is like hunched over the table like this, and they've got the Rocket here, the Hart here, the Lester B. Pearson right here, the Selke. Yeah, they've got all of these awards like they're just a cartoon villain robbing a bank in a Disney Sunday morning cartoon, man. Like, they do like those photos, so I think McKinnon's got a good chance. The odds makers would agree with you, Spring. McKinnon minus 185, Kucherov plus 230, Celebrini plus 475. Connor McDavid, this is like there's some value on Connor McDavid right now at plus 1200. So that's for the Hart
Trophy. He can't win it though. That'd be crazy. I mean, because no Draisaitl the rest of the way. So it's just, they help each other get points. Like, make no mistake about it. Marty Necas is like extremely. It's not just that like Necas is a McKinnon merchant. No. And Mikko wasn't to that degree either. They're excellent players, but that's going to help Nate get more points. Draisaitl is going to help McDavid get more points on that power play. So no Draisaitl the rest of the year. I think that's probably why the odds makers say, okay. And Edmonton's record is just not going to be good enough to justify it.
The Norris Werenski is minus 115. Makar plus 145. Kale's got to go on a heater to get this thing done. I think he's got to score a few more goals, and I think he has to have like a moment. Like, maybe that's if he has a moment against Dallas where he scores a big time goal, like he did honestly on the power play at home. Mm-hmm. He has to have a moment to win that. I do think it's going to be the year where they kind of give Werenski his cookie, because Werenski's been in that conversation for 3 years, but like Kale and Quinn have been so good and so overly dominant points wise. I think the league's going to look at Werenski and go, if we don't give it to you now, you're never going to get one.
Yeah.
Because of how good Kale and Quinn and how good Schaefer and and Hudson or like all those players, I think the league's going to look at him and go like, here's your year, brother. It's okay, Kale. You'll get another couple next year and the year after.
That happens. I mean, what do the defensive stats look like? I mean, is Kale? He's got to be leading. Is he leading everything? I mean, just scored 20 goals, got 70 points. Is Werenski ahead of him in either of those categories? And obviously those are just offensive numbers for an award that does go to the best defenseman. But yeah, it's kind of like with Taylor Hall in his heart. Like he's young and this team, and I felt like they just wanted to get a cookie, like you said, to Taylor Hall. I can see them doing that with Werenski too, for sure.
Yeah, your points right now as you turn into a robot with your connection, Spring. Bouchard's got 78 points and 19 goals. Werenski's got 72 and 20 goals, but he's only played 61 games compared to Makar and Bouchard, who have 68 and 70 respectively in games played. Okay. Makar leads all defensemen in goals scored at 20. He's tied with Werenski there. Zach's probably going to get it. The Vezina right now, Sorokin, Vasilevsky is a pick'em at -110. And then you're close. Like Mackenzie Blackwood has better odds to win the Vezina than Scott Wedgwood does, which is insane to me. They're not even going to be finalists, which is bullshit. Like Scott Wedgwood should be a finalist for the Vezina and should really get a good opportunity to win this thing.
No, I noticed the odds recently. I was like, oh, they're just giving no love to these two dudes. They don't like the tandem. They hate the tandem thing, even though their numbers are both very good. Certainly Scott Wedgwood's in particular. All right, man. Before I turn into a robot again, if I'm not already, let's call it a Friday. What do you say? Let's call it a Friday.
Let's call it a Friday.
We'll be back Sunday midday. Good morning, puck. Wake up and puck. That's what we're going to do on Sunday.
That's what I hope I get to do on Sunday as well, Spring.
Yeah. Some good morning puck.
All right, for Spring, doing double duty on the Avs Network. Great job as always, my friend. I'll talk to you on Sunday after the Avs take on, who do they have on Sunday? Washington,
D.C.
Washington. We'll see you guys somewhere around like 1 p.m., maybe a little bit earlier than 1 p.m. Actually, no, it's going to be around 1 because I'm on network that day. 1 p.m. for a post-game show there. Avs win 100 points, and they clinch a playoff berth yet again. McKinnon on fire with 3 points. Marty Necas on fire with 3 points. And they take advantage of the game in hand against the Dallas Stars. Spring, we'll see you, brother.